The 10 richest authors of all time. While penning a good tale is one way to become the richest author, it certainly isn't the only path to the top. From millionaires to billionaire status, these rich authors not only made it onto our list of the richest authors of all time, but they often did so via surprising and roundabout ways. Note: all figures are based on estimated figures in USD via celebrity net worth. Number 10. Rose Kennedy. Net worth, $500 million. American philanthropist and socialite, Rose Kennedy, yes, of those Kennedys, authored a book titled Times to Remember in 1974. While it's widely believed that her wealth was the product of illegal bootlegging by her husband and family members, little actual evidence supports this. Instead, Joe Kennedy is said to have made the bulk of his money investing in legal liquor importing and distribution after the Prohibition and was a successful financier who got out of the stock market just before the 1929 crash. Number 9. Paulo Coelho. Net worth, $500 million. Brazilian novelist, musician and lyricist Paulo Coelho is a prolific writer who knew he wanted to be a writer from a young age. Unfortunately, his parents sent him to what was at the time considered a mental institution, from which he escaped a number of times before finally being released 4 years later. He traveled the world and took an extended trip through Spain, which later led to his story The Alchemist, a national bestseller. He continues to write, and to date has sold more than 150 million copies. Number 8. Grant Cardone. Net worth, $600 million. Grant Cardone is an author, motivational speaker and automobile salesperson whose own life story served his trajectory onto the list of richest authors. Early on in his life, Grant developed a drug addiction and at 25 entered rehab. Within 5 years of leaving rehab, he was a millionaire. He has authored 5 books, including If You're Not First, You're Last, which made numerous bestsellers lists, including the New York Times. Number 7. Matt Groening. Net worth, $600 million. The American animator, television producer, cartoonist and author is best known for the massively popular The Simpsons, the longest-running primetime television series in history. When Groening first moved to Los Angeles in 1977 at age 23 to become a writer, he had to take on normal day jobs to make ends meet. At that time, he made a self-published comic book for his circle of friends describing that life, titled Life in Hell. His first professional comic sale came a year later, and some 11 years later, on December 17, 1989, the half-hour show premiered and the rest is history. Number 6. Candy Spelling. Net worth, $600 million. Spelling is an American heiress, writer, socialite and entrepreneur. She was born and raised in the 90,210 zip code, since made famous by her even more famous husband, Aaron Spelling, who passed away in 2006. Spelling's autobiography, Stories from Candyland, made it to the New York Times bestseller list, and she regularly writes for several publications, including LA Confidential and the Huffington Post. Number 5. Danielle Steel. Net worth, $600 million. Even if you haven't read her many works, you may recognize the name. Steel is a well-known American romance novelist, and having spent most of her childhood in France, she first took to writing with poetry. She impressively penned her first manuscript at 19, and following the birth of her first daughter, turned to copywriting at an ad agency and subsequently working for a public relations firm. In a classic art imitating life scenario, Steel has had several dramatic and well-publicized marriages and divorces, which inspired several works. She has written over 190 books, which include picture books and children's literature. In 1989, she got on the Guinness Book of World Records for having a book on the New York Times bestseller list for 381 consecutive weeks. Number 4. Jim Davis. Net worth, $800 million. Perhaps also doubling as the world's richest cartoonist, Davis is best known for his Garfield comic strips about a mischievous and wisecracking cat, his owner, John Arbuckle, and John's lovable but gullible dog, Odie. Garfield is the most widely syndicated strip, and Davis continues to write new adventures for these characters, including for a new CGI animated series. Number 3. James Patterson. Net worth, $800 million. Patterson is an American popular fiction novelist best known for his Alex Cross series, first published in 1976, about a psychologist. He's a masterful storyteller who has spawned his talent of spinning tales to other genres, including nonfiction, young adult and romance novels. Number 2. J.K. Rowling. Net worth, $1 billion. The controversial British author and movie producer is well known for the Harry Potter series, making her one of the wealthiest private British citizens. What is less known about Rowling is that before she became one of the richest authors, she was first a researcher and English teacher. Rowling applied for welfare before purportedly conceiving the magical world on a train ride in 1990. The Harry Potter movies alone have grossed billions of dollars, not including merchandising. Number 1. Mackenzie Scott. Net worth, $32 billion. This American novelist is partly known for being the former wife of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, who himself became the richest person on the planet in 2018. However, the California native has won accolades for her writing in her own right, an American Book Award in 2006 for the testing of Luther Albright. She also wrote Traps. Her divorce settlement was finalized in April 2019. She got $35.6 billion in Amazon stocks. The settlement instantly boosted Scott to the top of this list and made her one of the richest women in the world since the split,